Big shouts out to all the brothers and sisters out there in social media land. I got an important service announcement coming up. Right out the gate, we're going to let y'all know the community event is going to go down tomorrow. Weather's going to be good. Ground should be good and dried up. And we're going to enter into our third wave of No Child in the Park Without Skates. And we will be pleased to let the brothers and sisters know that we have successfully fulfilled every child on the list. Out of all them lists of children that we had that needed roller skates, we have successfully fulfilled every last one on the list. And as we stated, new children are going to be showing up every week. And so for as often as we got new children hitting those lists for roller skates, then we're going to continue to pull ourselves together and make the contributions on behalf of the children. Now, we can't tell nobody how to raise their children, what they should do in front of their children, what they should not do in front of their children. But we're going to ask for our grown folks to use discretion with whatever it is that they are doing around the children. And so before we get the service announcement out the way, let's get the business out the way first. 2006 Dodge Magnum is sold. For anybody that had inquiries on it, it sold yesterday. And for my workers out there, we got this big solid utility truck. It's a 3500. It's in excellent shape. This thing will pull anything. It'll pull a bulldozer, a tractor. And next to that, we got this 2011. That utility truck is a 2009. We got this 2011 F-250. I use this truck, but it's for sale. As y'all see, I got my trailer hooked up to it. So I use this truck, but this truck is for sale. It's time to liquidate it. I was asking $6,500 for this utility truck. I got one of our Mexican brothers just offered me $5,500 for it. So I told him to come take a look at it. If he want it, he gonna drive away with it. We got this 2001 Ford F-150 strong truck. I've had it for about 8 years. All the maintenance and everything been upkept on it. It's an excellent running truck. So I'm going to be asking about $6,500 for this, which is great. I just spent $3,000 worth of maintenance on this truck right here. This thing can start up and drive you to New York, and it'll pull something while it's going. So anybody interested in any vehicles, we got this Scooby-Doo over here. This is what I use to haul my equipment around in, my DJ equipment around in. But I'm gonna have to get a bigger van because this is really too small for some of the equipment that I need to move. So we're gonna let that green truck go for about $3,500, and we'll let this Scooby-Doo van, this thing run like a dream. And plus I just had some earthquake sound system put in there, but I probably let this van go. I'll probably let this van go for about $2,800 with all the music and everything in it. And so, with that being said, anybody out there that's looking to do some business, we got to get the business out the way first, because our brothers got to understand, if you don't have no money, then you don't have no options. So we need to find a way to start making us some money. Now let's get down to business. Let's get down to the community business. So we want to send a big shout out to all of our brothers and sisters who have contributed from the start of this event. You'll understand that you have directly impacted the lives of some children, giving them some place to put their energy at, giving them something to drive for, something to do with their time. They ain't on social media for 5 hours. For 5 hours, they ain't on social media. For 5 hours, they not stuck in the house playing video games. And for 5 hours, you know, they getting exercise. and for 5 hours, you know what I'm saying, they are having some family interaction. So all of those things are good things. Now we noticed that a few weeks ago, for a few weeks in a row, we have had the Scientology people to pull up. And I don't mean nothing by this when I say this, so don't nobody take it personal like I'm a racist, but I just call people what they are, pale-faced people, you know what I'm saying? That they have showed up, and I don't knock nobody for what they doing, but, you know, our people, I'm looking at our people, we got to wake up. One of the great things about this community event that we was aiming to do, and we have really accomplished that, if we have caused our brothers and sisters to understand how important it is for us to do things on our own. Well, we got enough money within all of us that when we pool our resources together, we can make anything happen that we want to make happen. You know what I'm saying? So I was invited to go to the event, and I did on yesterday. And guess what I noticed? I noticed that all of our people out there with the kids and everybody, I noticed I didn't see not one of our people walking around with a Hennessy bottle. I didn't see not one of our people there smoking no blunts. I didn't see none of our people there doing any of those things. And I say, now, what's the difference? What's the difference? Why is it that we have so much of a great respect for pale-faced people, but we have no respect for our own? It's like, well, if my brother's doing it, it's an all-out free fall. Anything goes, whatever, you know. But when somebody else is doing something, we're able to put whatever it is that we do as grown folks on the back burner until those things get out the way. Now, how one of them people asked me about collaborating the skating event with, it ain't even a thought in my mind. It's not even a thought in my mind, because these are just more than community events. These things are trying to bring some awareness to our people. Now here, let me show you what's really happening. While we pull money out of our pockets to pool our resources together to try and do something good for our children, here you got another group of people that's pulling our people together and doing events, but they getting government money for it. They're going to get government money for doing what they doing, and then they're going to serve you hamburgers and hot dogs while they put the other $1 million in their pocket. See, there's time out for this foolishness. It's time out for that foolishness right there. Because ain't nobody, we got to get past that point to where we stop allowing people to lord over us as though we some damn children, or we can't do nothing for ourselves. We can't do nothing on our own. Man, and it's a whole lot that can be said. It's a whole lot that can be said, because I don't knock no brothers for doing nothing that they do, because a lot of things we need to have done. But the reality is that our people don't do nothing but party. Every week it's another party. Every week it's another party for the grown folks to go out and kick it, and the grown folks to go out and drink and buy their outfits and look good and all of that stuff. But when it comes to the children, oh, I ain't got it. Oh, I'm broke. Oh, I'm on hard times. Oh, I can't get the skates because I don't get paid for 2 weeks. Oh, I can't do this. But we can have all these other things that we as adults do. And when it comes to the children, like I said, it's something different. We want to be, I'm going to keep reinforcing this, we want to give the biggest major shout out to every brother and every sister that have contributed one dime. We want to give big shouts out to the brothers and sisters that have brought hot dogs. DJ LS Flash pulled up yesterday, said, I'm coming by the house. I got a sister, she done bought some stuff, so he gets out, and here we got big boxes of potato chips, we got water, I want to give a big shout out, because nobody has to do anything. But the reason why we're doing this community events, because we want people to understand and have a greater sense of what community is. Community ain't about no one person doing nothing. This is not something that I'm doing. Yeah, it's a vision there. It's a vision behind it. It's something that we aiming to create out of these events. But ultimately, every person has a role to play when it comes to these community events. Ain't no big I's, no little U's. Whatever you can find your hand to do, we find our hand to get it done. And when we start seeing that we don't need no outside help. And and I'm going to eventually do it. I'm going to eventually do it. Establish the Drop the Casket Coalition Foundation, a non-for-profit. I'm going to eventually do it so that people can be able to, we can get sponsorship or whatnot like that. But that's not my goal. That's not my goal. My goal is to bring us to a place to where we stop looking for other people's handouts and start using what God gives us so that it can become a benefit to each other. When we bind ourselves together in that type of way. I'm not talking about just being somebody that's doing something or having a spirit of greed where you're just going to go out and make money off of everybody and put all the money in your pocket and they'll have a good life and don't reciprocate. Now, I'm not talking about that. We're not doing these things so that we can make no money. We're doing these things so that we can make every person that's participating understand how valuable it is and what a great sense of feeling that you get out of being able to do something for yourself. It's time out for this foolishness. Now we got all of our people that be doing all of these things and got, extra to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Well, we need our people off Section 8. We need our people off welfare. We need our people off assistance to be able to pay their lights, gas, and water. We need our people off of all of this stuff because our people are the most regal and royal people on the planet. We are more than capable of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our children, and taking care of our own lives. We're more than capable of doing that. So the community event is going to go forward on tomorrow. Now, I got two things that I want to ask somebody who would be willing to come alongside of your brother and do something great. I need a couple of Rubik's Cubes because I got a treat for everybody that's out there in the park tomorrow. If it's any brothers and sisters that are on this line and you want to do something great and put your hand to the plow in this community event, you show up tomorrow with 2 Rubik's Cubes. Show up tomorrow with 2 Rubik's Cubes. It's going to be something very powerful that's going to come out of that right there. But 2 Rubik's Cubes is what I need. So, shouts out to all of my brothers and sisters in Kansas City, Missouri. Big shouts out to all of my brothers and sisters that are scattered throughout this country who have always risen up in the time that we have had need to say, here you go, elder. Here you go, brother. I'm sending this. I'm sending that. I'm sending. For the last 8 years, we have probably raised probably close to $100,000 of support for our brothers and sisters throughout the country. And this is the first time this year in Kansas City, Missouri, that I'm able to do something of this nature, and I am really grateful for the response that we have gotten. You can always go other places and get a good response, you know what I mean? But it's like at home, it's going to be the last place that people want to lift their finger, and that have not been the case. Brothers and sisters in Kansas City, Missouri have responded to the call and came out like knights on white horses to snatch up a handkerchief. And that right there brings a smile to my face. When I look at the faces of these little children, when they receiving these skates and then they put them on for the first time and they go out there and they falling all over the place and they getting right, man, that brings joy. But you know something? It's something else to see another child sitting on the bench crying because they want skates too and they want to be able to skate. That's how this whole thing evolved. The children who have not, because their parents make all kind of excuses as to why they can't do it. Or in some cases, you have parents that really genuinely cannot afford to do it. But that is what prompted this whole thing. We don't want to see our children broken. When our children are children, they supposed to be experiencing the best joyful time of their childhood, but we know that that's not the case because the condition of our families. We don't know what type of circumstances that our children are living with on a day-to-day basis. And when they can come out for 5 or 6 hours and just enjoy themselves and have a good time, nobody knows what type of living condition that they go back home to. So we want to bring some awareness. We want to bring some awareness to our brothers and sisters that are well off, that have been blessed to have an abundance, how important it's going to be for you to line yourself up with somebody that has vision to get something done in this town. We don't get to the point to where we don't need no government. We don't need listen, this is a Bible scripture right here. In the last days, the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people. He shall dwell amongst the Gentiles. That means the remnant of Jacob is those that came into this Western Hemisphere and all over the world as slaves. And in the last days, he's going to dwell in the midst of many people. And he will no longer wait on the sons of men. He ain't no longer going to wait on people to do things for him. Eventually, we're going to start rising up. We're going to start doing these things for ourselves. If the city and the parks don't want to build us a facility for our children, then guess what? Then we'll build it ourselves. And ain't nobody can tell me that we can't do it. Because when you factor in how much money we spend partying, and how much money we spend on weed, and how much money we spend on alcohol, and I'm not down on nobody, because every now and then I got a little bit of my money going to the party. I got a little bit of my money. I got a lot of my money that goes to the party, because I make a point to try to support everybody that's doing something, so that when it's time for me to solicit the support of those that I have supported, that's why I do it. But I'm not saying that I'm no better than nobody else. I'm not better than nobody else. But I'm saying when we factor in how much money that we spend frivolously on a good time, you're not going to tell me what we can't do when we bind ourselves together and we reaching for something that's great. So on tomorrow, I need a brother and a sister, or whoever gonna lift their hand to the plow in this particular area. I need them Rubik's Cubes. I'm gonna use those Rubik's Cubes to make a very valuable and very important point. And then those Rubik's Cubes gonna be given away to the children so that they can start exercising their mind. So peace and blessings be upon all of you brothers and sisters. See you tomorrow. Kansas City, Missouri, Swope Park Bandstand. Community event. Drop the Casket Coalition presents Put Down the Guns and Put on the Roller Skates. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to put these guns down. We're going to put on the roller skates. And we're going to have to make something more important than our young men handling guns. So, peace and blessings be upon all of you brothers and sisters.